Hi, this is Jane Day. I'm the Associate Director and Manager of Public Services at the Ford Library, and today I'm going to show you that even though you may not be on campus, you still have access to us. So today we're going to cover the library catalog as well as an app called Overdrive. Then we'll discuss the terms of use for the library databases, and then those databases that we'll cover will include those that are useful to you for company research, market research reports, as well as news and articles. So you want to use the catalog to locate any Duke-owned book or magazine, journal, such as the Harvard Business Review, databases, and more. In addition, Duke subscribes to Overdrive, which allows you to download ebooks and audiobooks. Here we are at the Ford Library homepage, and you'll see that the catalog is front and center. Again, that allows you to search for everything at Duke. Also, you can narrow by databases or by e-journals. So if somebody says you need to look at this article from the Wall Street Journal, this is an easy way to find out which database it's in. So the first thing I'm going to do is search for the title, "Are You Smart Enough to Work at Google?" And then I'll click search. Type in the Harvard Business Review. So we want to find out, does Duke subscribe to it? Is it available electronically? If so, which database do I use to find it? Here's our results. It is something that Duke has available electronically, and I'm going to select the Business Source Complete link. This goes back to 1922, so it's the full backlog of the Harvard Business Review. I'm going to click Login. And again, this is coming through EBSCOhost. It's a database provider. I'll click the latest, so 2019, and that would be January, February. And this is going to show me a list of those articles. Let's go back to our home page now, and I mentioned earlier about Overdrive. So you'll notice down here that we have it available as an audiobook and ebook application. And here are some of the most recent audiobook covers on your tablet. And let's take a look at all Overdrive audiobooks. This will show you those that are available, in this case the New Business Audio, plus new editions of other books. You can change the subject area, by the way. So if you go up here and click Subjects, you can download fiction, you can also download history. Let's take a look at those titles that are available as medical titles. Some of them are checked out. You can place a hold on these. You can also take a look at those that are available now. So again, this is something that you'll want to go ahead and download to access ebooks and audiobooks. Know that when clicking through to use the databases that you are restricted to their terms of use, including that you will only use them for academic purposes only. Do not share your password ever. And also, please restrict the number of reports downloaded. Staying with these terms will mean that we have steady access to these. For more information on appropriate and inappropriate use, please see the link below. take a look at company resources as those things that include basic information on the company as well as information about their operations, maybe their transactions. So today we're going to look at some of the most popular that we have, including Orbis, S&P Capital IQ, and Privco. I would show you too that we have many more, so if you have questions about whether or not we have a resource, you can search the catalog, you can look at our A to Z database page, or you can contact me. So let's start with Orbis. Orbis is a global database which has information on over 200 million companies worldwide, with an emphasis on private company information. It contains descriptive information, company financials, news, ratings, and country reports, as well as ownership and M&A data. So let's first see how you can locate Orbis. You could go into the databases link here for the catalog and type in the name of the database and click search, and that's one way of doing it. Just click the Get It at Duke link and go from there. What I tend to do is use the link from our home page for databases and this A to Z list. You're going to see that that's basically where we're going to come in for this database. We're going to use Orbis Web. It's a little different from the WRDS product. And here we have some news on the database. And I'm just going to go up here and do a search for a company. Let's take a look at ExxonMobil. And we have a drop-down menu suggestion, so I'll go ahead and click that. In the green, you'll have the publicly listed company. Brown are the branches, and in the blue, it's companies with edited data. So I'm going to go ahead and click ExxonMobil in green. And this is the basics on the company, who they are, where they're located, what they do. And over on the right, you'll see that there's additional information that we can pull up. So I'm going to just look at their key financials. And we can also look at, say, their major customers or competitors. So if you want to pull up a competitors report, you can do that. So that's a basic company research. I'm going to take that out of my search strategies, and I want to go in and do or create a list of companies. So today let's take a look at the investment banking industry. So I'm going to go to industry classification, and here they give us what is their NACE code. I'm going to use the SIC code. It's one that's embedded in my memory of 6211. And I also want to change from that being the primary code to all codes. So sometimes companies will have multiple SIC codes. And again, I know this is 6211, but you'll notice they also give you a description. So I'm going in here and selecting that out. And I've added this over. And we have over 500,000 companies. I'll click OK. We're going to narrow this now again. So we have all active companies with this SIC code, and this is companies worldwide. I want to make sure that this is a publicly traded company. So going over here to publicly listed companies, okay. That's narrowed down our search to 73,000 plus, and let's look for those really, really large companies. So I'm going to say very large companies. Okay. There's a number of ways you could do this. You could select by location. You can select by revenue. Right now we have 865 companies, and I'm going to click View List. And here we have those. Now, you'll see that we have some basic information on them, what they do, what codes they have. With that 6211, we also see the number of employees, what's the name of the bank. I want to add more to this spreadsheet. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to select from the contact details. I'd like to know where this company is located. So city and country. Okay. And once we pull this up, we can then just download this as an Excel spreadsheet. Otherwise, I'm going to log out. So our next database is Privco, and like the name indicates, it includes private company information. So the reason I tend to use this is because it has financials on those companies, which is very difficult to find. It also includes M&A deals, deal multiples, private firm valuations, VC funding, etc. So let's go ahead and go in and take a look at it. Like with CapIQ, you do have to go in with Privco and first, let me just enter my NetID and password, and first sign up. So once you do that, you can go ahead and log in. And you'll notice up at the top they give you some of the popular companies: Airbnb, Coke, Uber, Mayer. And then they start giving you some information on recent deals. I'm going to go up here and enter the company Warby Parker. They make eyeglasses. And right up front, there's that important information that's difficult to find, the financials. Now, they won't have financials on every company, but those large publicly traded or very well-known public companies, you'll be able to get that kind of information, especially if there's a lot of investor interest. So here you see that T. Rowe Price is one of their major investors. We've also got some contact information, some funding activity. And with this, you can download this either as an Excel file or to PDF. Like our previous company databases, you can also go in and search for private companies. So you can choose an industry, revenue criteria. And this will be pretty similar across the different types of searches. So we've looked at private companies. You can also search for investors. You can include fundings as a way of going in and searching for those fundings, or searching for M&A or private equity. Okay. Next, we're looking at market research. We're going to take a look at 4 databases: MarketLine Advantage, IBISWorld, Passport, also known as Euromonitor, and BCC. Know that we have many more market research reports. So we're starting off with MarketLine Advantage, and with this source you can go in, you can search for companies actually, and you can also search for industry reports. Some of the industries they cover are consumer goods, energy, finance, healthcare, and technology. And as I mentioned earlier, you can also go in and find company information, including SWOT analysis, which may be useful to you. So from our A to Z list of databases, I'm selecting MarketLine Advantage. Let me just close this out. And quickly, I'm going to do a search for just JetBlue. Notice to the right we have All Research. Let's change that to Company Profiles. And now I'm going to click Search. And there's JetBlue. Again, who they are, where they are, what they do. And then over on the right, you'll see things such as their locations and subsidiaries, some SWOT analysis, who their key competitors are. You can also get financial deal information, some case studies. You can link to their industry. You can also go in and select data for them. So let's just take a look at that SWOT analysis. And here we see those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats with some discussion on that. So now it's time to take a look at those industries and give you an idea of what the industry reports look like. I'm going to look at retailing. So I'm going to go up here, click that on, and once we get in here, you'll notice that it starts off with retailing for jewelries, watch, and accessories. This is listed out by the date of the report. I can also go over on the right and say I am looking specifically for electricals and electronics. And here we have consumer electronics. Notice that these are worldwide reports, so different countries are available. I'm just going to select our Canadian neighbors. This will give you an idea of what's contained in these reports. And then I'm just going to download this. This will give you an idea of what will be contained in here. Next we have IBISWorld. This is a great resource for U.S. market research on large industries as well as more granular subsectors, and can be used to locate industry trends, performance, key players, and statistics. So I'll go ahead and click through to IBISWorld. Please note, limit your downloads to 10 reports per session. Also, close your browser when you're finished. As I mentioned earlier, there are a number of subsector reports here. If you'll look at the recently updated, we've got international airlines in the U.S. But today I want to take a look at the sandwich and sub restaurants. So I'll start typing that in. And you'll see we have auto-suggest saying sandwich and sub franchises. And there's the report that we're going to select. From the beginning, they give us information on the industry, so definitions, the supply chain, who the major players are, their main activities. But you'll notice at the top we also have these tabs which include things like industry performance, and this will show you a few things like the current performance. And then the outlook, and this is where you'll be able to see trends. Products and markets also includes like the major markets, the business locations, supply chain information. Then competitive landscape will also include things like the market share concentration, so how many players, how intense is the concentration. In this case, it's quite high. You'll also get some things like key success factors, cost structures. Also, we have major companies and operating conditions, but I want to show you the key statistics, which you can download to Excel. You can also download the full report by clicking the PDF. Passport, also known as Euromonitor, is an important database for U.S. and international consumer demographics, industry statistics, and research reports for 49 countries. Okay, as we access Passport, up at the top you'll see the links to industries, economies, consumers. We're focusing on the industries today, and these are mostly what you'll see with consumer products. So in this case I am selecting consumer appliances. And from the beginning you'll see the briefings, which includes their latest research reports. Or you can go to country reports, and so we're looking at consumer appliances, and let's select as our geography Brazil. When this report loads, it will begin with analysis of the industry. You'll also see data graphics. And then context allows you to see how Brazil ranks within the world in terms of retail sales, so you can compare the two. You can also download, and in this case you just click what you need and then download the report. You will need to include your name and your Duke email address, and then click Submit. And here's our report. It is quite detailed. And you can see with the different tables what's included within this report. Going back now to the main landing page, I'm going to choose statistics, and in this case I'm going to look at beauty and personal care. And let's take a look at color cosmetics. And I'll click go. Right now we're looking at a breakdown by country for market size, but you can change that to, in this case, let's look at company shares, but you can also look at brand shares. And this will give you a country by country breakdown of those main cosmetic producers. You can also change the coverage time, and you can download either the full data set or your current view. Next, we're going to look at BCC Research. BCC reports are our best source for sort of the high-tech industries, including pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and energy. It includes a lot more too, so I'm going to show you that by selecting BCC. And please note, like our other databases, limit this to academic use only. Don't share these reports, and also don't do bulk downloads or use web scraping software to scrape the database. So you can start your search here, or you can go up to the top and select from our market research reports. Again, this gives you an idea of what's available. So it starts with energy and the environment, but you'll also see things like biotechnology. And let's take a look at those reports. And I'm going to take a look at this one on cancer cell analysis. So this gives you sort of a high-level look at this industry. If I click download the PDF, I can download this full report. We're going to look at news and article resources now, and we'll take a look at Factiva and ABI Inform, but as always, note that we have more. I'm going to start with Factiva. It is a great resource for today's edition of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, but know that it includes business publications from around the world, and it has an extensive newspaper coverage, again, with an international focus. So we're going to go ahead and access Factiva. Once we get in, you'll see today's edition of those publications. So right off the bat, here we have the Wall Street Journal. This is today's edition, and it's showing us a selection of dates over the past week or so. We can also look at the different sections within the paper, and there's the New York Times, the Washington Post, and a few other business publications. So that's one way of looking at this database. You can also go directly over if you're just searching for a company and enter the name. So we're looking at JetBlue, and I can select this from the list that they provide. And this will give us a company profile. By selecting latest news, we can also see, again, news coverage on the company. And this includes web news as well as multimedia and different categories within that type of news. So if you're looking for press releases, you can find them here. If I go to Search Builder at the top, this allows me to do a more advanced search. So in this case, I could say I'm looking at sales and JetBlue. You'll notice this is a Boolean search. But I think what I want to do instead is search for news over the past 2 years for the company. And this kind of simplifies your search. So we'll say JetBlue. And let's narrow our resources beginning with the Wall Street Journal. And I can select the type of source that I'm looking at. So we can either look at top sources, we can look at type. I want to select industry. So I only want to see the air transport industry. What publications would be considered air transport? You'll see we have a number of them, including those in many different languages. So I'll go ahead and select the entire category. And then I'm going to click search. And here are our results. You can also modify your search. So if you said, I only want to see those items that are in English, we can do that and then click search. So our next resource is ABI Inform, and this is also a great resource for just business-related publications. So you won't see all of those international newspapers, but you will find a lot of trade journals. You'll also find the Wall Street Journal in here. I like it because the search platform tends to be a little more simplified than what you see with Factiva. So once we get in, I will go back to our same search that we used with Factiva, and I'm just going to type in JetBlue. To the right, we can narrow our search. We could say just put this in the company organization index or the document title, but I'm not going to narrow this time. I'm just going to search JetBlue. And what you'll see once we get in is that we have over 55,000 results. We can narrow. In this case, let's just take a look at newspapers. So now we're down to 5,000. We can also sort or narrow by the number of years. So let's just look at from 2018 forward. And now we have 345 results. You can exit ProQuest at this point and click Exit again. For help with this or any other resource, go to our home page and click the Ask a Librarian link.